right, everyone, get ready, because we are diving deep into Kristin Hannah's The Women today.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, this is a book that a lot of you have wanted us to cover, and it looks like it's going to be really good.
It does.
Especially, I think we can already tell from these excerpts that the theme of female friendship is going to be front and center in the novel.
For sure, and with World War II as the backdrop, I think we're in for some powerful stuff.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Hannah sets the story in 1941.
Oh, wow. So right before
America enters the war.
Yeah, that's a really interesting time to choose.
Yeah.
Like, she's putting these women right on the edge of this huge change.
Exactly. It's like a volcano about to erupt, both for them personally and for the whole world.
Totally.
So much pressure on these women and their relationships.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the women themselves, starting with Margaret.
Okay.
Now, from what I'm gathering, she's carrying some pretty heavy baggage from her past, some trauma that Hannah doesn't fully reveal right away.
Right, and that's so smart, I think. It makes you want to keep reading to find out what happened to her.
Oh yeah, totally. And then she makes this huge decision to enlist as a nurse during the war.
Wow.
Talk about a way to face your demons head on.
I mean, can you imagine?
Right.
It's almost like she's choosing to confront the horrors of war as a way of dealing with the horrors within herself.
That's such a great insight.
And think about the role of nurses in wartime.
Okay.
They're expected to be these angels of mercy.
Right, the healers.
But they're also face to face with incredible suffering and death.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. I hadn't even thought about it like that.
It's like Hannah's setting up this really powerful contrast between societal expectations of women and the brutal realities they're forced to confront.
It's going to be intense to see how Margaret navigates all of that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's move on to Elaine.
Okay.
This woman, she is ambitious, she's sharp as a tack, but she's trapped in a society that wants to keep her small.
Yeah, that's so frustrating.
Right, it's like she's constantly being told, nope, your dreams are too big, little lady.
It's that classic struggle between what society expects of women and what they actually aspire to.
Exactly.
And it's so relevant even today.
It is.
Like, we've come a long way, but women are still battling those limitations in so many ways.
So true. And it's interesting because Hannah is writing this against the backdrop of World War II.
Right.
Where women were stepping up in huge ways.
Rosie the Riveter.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking on jobs that were traditionally considered men's work.
And then being told to go back to the kitchen once the war was over.
Exactly. It's like society needed them, but didn't really value them.
Yeah, and it's definitely pointing a finger at that hypocrisy.
Oh, for sure. I can't wait to see how Elaine's story unfolds.
Me neither. I have a feeling it's going to be explosive.
I think so, too.
All right, so next we have Lucille.
Okay.
Now, her story is a little different.
How so?
Well, she comes from a working class background, and she's had to fight tooth and nail for everything she's got.
Wow.
So it's not just about personal trauma for her, it's about overcoming social and economic barriers too.
That's a really important point, because it reminds us that there's no single woman's experience.
Right.
Like class and race, all those factors intersect with a gender to create unique challenges for each woman.
Absolutely. And I think Hannah's doing a great job of showing that complexity through Lucille's story.
Totally. I'm already rooting for her.
Me too. Okay, and last but not least, we have Anna.
All right.
She's like our trailblazing feminist fighting for women's rights in a time when that was not easy.
Not easy at all.
No way. I bet Hannah drew inspiration from real-life figures like Eleanor Roosevelt for this character.
Oh, I bet you're right. Eleanor Roosevelt was such a force for change.
And she was so outspoken about women's rights.
Yeah. It's so important to remember that the feminist movement didn't just appear out of thin air in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
It had roots going way back, and Anna's character seems to represent that.
Totally. And I'm curious to see how her activism influences the other women.
Me too. Maybe it even nudges them towards their own forms of empowerment.
Oh, definitely. It's like each of these characters embodies a different aspect of womanhood.
Right.
And their friendship is like this crucible where their struggles and their triumphs all come together.
And forge this unbreakable bond between them.
Exactly. And it's not just about warm and fuzzy feelings either.
No.
We have to remember that this is a time when women were often pitted against each other.
Oh, yeah. Competing for limited opportunities and resources.
Right. But in the women, Hannah seems to be saying that true strength comes from supporting each other.
Absolutely. It's like that saying, empowered women empower women.
Love that. And I think we're going to see some truly moving moments of these women leaning on each other, sharing their burdens, celebrating their victories.
For sure. Especially in a world that's on the brink of war.
Right.
Where traditional support systems are crumbling, that kind of bond becomes even more vital.
They're not just friends. They're each other's lifelines.
Exactly.
So when it comes down to it, The Women isn't just a historical novel.
No, it's so much more than that.
It's a testament to female resilience.
And the power of connection.
And the evolving meaning of womanhood in a rapidly changing world.
Exactly.
Wow. I'm even more excited to read this now.
And as you're reading, think about this.
Okay.
How much of our identity is shaped by the world around us, and how much can we shape the world in return?
Ooh, that's a really good one.
It's a question that Hannah seems to be grappling with throughout the book.
And I think it's something we can all relate to on some level.
Definitely.
Well, I can't wait to hear what you all think of The Women once you've had a chance to read it.
Me neither.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive,
It's been a pleasure.
and happy reading.